I had a really good question come in from one of my readers about how to find property to buy, refinance and refurb. And I thought it would be great to put a video together answering their question so that we can all share it. And this is the question, let me just read it out to you. Hi Peter, I've purchased your property manuals in the past, well thank you for that, and I buy into and understand your strategy of buying, refurbing, refinancing, take your money back out and keep repeating the process. The biggest stumbling block to this is buying the right type of property at the right price. Do you have any specific advice regarding this? Yes, I do. Now this is quite a common problem really, that many people understand the principle of buying, refinancing and taking money back out. And the truth of the matter is, the concept behind it is really very simple, but that's not to say that the actual doing is easy, and I wouldn't ever pretend that it's easy. But it could be easier, I think, than the question suggests. So let's just have a quick run through of the things that we need to think about. Now I should say before I start that I could teach a whole 3-day course on this. So this is going to be a quick 2-minute video just to sort of give you the bullet point highlights, just to point you in the right direction and hopefully to sort of give you some comfort that this can be done. The first question we need to answer is, can we buy properties at a discount? And the answer is yes, we can buy properties at a discount. Now the truth of the matter is, it's probably easier to buy properties at a discount when we look at properties at the extreme edges of the property market, if that makes sense. So for very cheap properties or for very expensive properties, the markets tend to be a little bit more volatile, prices are a little bit more volatile, and so at those extremes it can be easier to buy at a discount. But if we're going to refinance and pull our money back out, then we're buying within a band of properties, because at the bottom we're going to be limited by the minimum valuation that a bank will lend on, assuming that we're going to be buying using finance. And at the top end of our band we're going to be limited by rent cover, which the banks require. Again, is not really the time and place to go into this, but most banks will require the rent to be like 125% of the monthly interest payments on the mortgage. So that's going to kind of limit the upper end of the band, if that makes sense. But we need to be aware of that, because if we're going to refinance to get our money back out, then we're going to have to work within the bank's criteria. So those criteria sort of mark out the range of property that we're looking at. So the next question we need to answer is, why do people sell at a discount? Well, people will sell at a discount basically because of life events. And what often happens is that a situation happens in somebody's life and they need to get rid of their property, and they're far more interested in getting rid of the property, and often far more interested in getting rid of the property quickly than they are in getting the best possible price. So life events could be divorce, it could be that they're in a lot of financial problems, maybe in a lot of debt, there's a lot going on which is messing things up financially for them. It could be that they're upsizing, it could be that they're downsizing, it could be that they're relocating, it could be that somebody's died and they've inherited a property and they just want to get their inheritance quickly. There could be any number of reasons why people need to sell their property. And as I say, you can sum all of these up under life events. So, where do we find these properties? Next question to answer, where do we find properties which we can buy at a discount? Well, there's a lot of creative ways that we can find people who are perhaps going through a life event. We can leaflet areas of properties, we can put adverts in the newspaper, and all of those things work. But I'd say, for somebody who's just starting out, I wouldn't even bother with that. Do you know where I'd go to find properties where people are selling because of life events? I'd go to the estate agents. Why the estate agents? Because 95% of people who want to sell their property are going to list it with an estate agent first and foremost. Now the argument which usually comes back is, well, aren't the estate agents going to keep the very best deals for their very best clients? The answer is probably, yes they are. But there are so many properties being sold through estate agents, it's got to be the case that even if the very best deals go to the very best clients, there's still going to be plenty of deals left over for you and me. Now the skill of the investor is sifting through all of those properties and finding the right properties. Now again, I could run a 2-day course on this, but let me just give you some very brief sort of headlines and bullet points on this. The key thing is to be talking to the estate agent in the right way. So the first thing is we need to build rapport with them so that we can talk to them, we can have a dialogue, we can explain to them exactly what we want. We can be asking them very basic questions like, do you have any clients who need to sell quickly? That's a pretty good one. Or, do you have any properties which are empty at the moment? If the property is empty at the moment, that's going to suggest that there's a need to sell the property quickly. The people have gone, could be that it's a probate and somebody's died. That's going to start giving a clue. You could even ask, if you wanted to, do you have any repossessions? But some estate agents are a bit wary about being so direct about that. And then the final thing we need to do is we need to be doing this in the context of knowing our area. We need to have a specific investment area which we know like the back of our hands. Why? Because then we know the values inside out. So if something comes onto the market which looks cheap, we know it looks cheap. If we're in our area regularly and we see a property come onto the market which looks a bit run down, we know it looks a bit run down. You might not be able to tell from looking at the photos on Rightmove, for example. Or it may be that we're just talking to somebody and we know the history of somebody who needs to sell. But we get to know all this by knowing our local area or our preferred investment area inside out. And so we get to spot the trends, we get to spot the values. Now, just to give you some encouragement, my preferred investment area is a little distance from where I live. I keep on top of it by going there very regularly. I watch Rightmove all the time. And my last 3 discounted, what we could call below market value deals, have all come through estate agents, and I found them all on Rightmove. And I knew that they were going to be good deals because I knew the area well enough to see that when the prices were marked up on Rightmove, they already looked cheap. That suggested to me that somebody needed to do a deal quickly, and when I went to see the property, when I talked to the estate agents, that turned out to be the case, and I was able to do a good deal and get the properties cheaply. So, is this rocket science? No, it's not. It's all just common sense, but it takes a little bit of hard work. You've got to get to know the area, you've got to build rapport with the agents, you've got to determine in your own mind which area you're going to focus on. You need to have a good idea of what it is you're trying to achieve so you can start looking for the right sorts of properties. But if you're willing to stick at this, you will find discounted properties, or properties which you can buy at a discounted price, which will allow you to buy them, refurbish them, refinance them, and then to pull all of your money back out. Well, I hope that was helpful to you. I realise it was very quick. There's not very much I can say in just a couple of minutes. But yes, in answer to the question, there are ways of doing it. You can do this.